Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Maximum Purpose, Maximum Profit podcast, where we talk to leaders who see themselves as stewards of planet Earth and humanity and try to drive their business doing well by doing good. They want to be successful financially, but they want to do so by solving societal problems, by solving human problems. Today, we are sitting with one such leader, one such steward leader, Dr. Harald Link, at his home in Bangkok, Thailand, chairman of B.Grimm, the oldest infrastructure and healthcare company in Thailand. Khun Link, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajeev, and welcome to our home.
So your business has been around for about 150 years, while the average age of a company these days is 18 years. What's the secret of your longevity?
Maybe I have to ask the founders and my forebearers, because they brought it very far. I think every company has a soul, and if you can stick to your soul, to your values, to your own self, then there's a good chance.
So what is the soul of B.Grimm? What are those values that have held you in good stead for 150 years? What do you believe in?
If you look at what the founders did, they came here as very young people, and they wanted to do something good for Thailand. So fortunately, one of them was a pharmacist, like my grandfather later, and they saw that people were dying of diseases that they were not necessary to die of if they had European medicines. So they were the first maker of European medicines in Thailand. And then the doctor of the king, who was his brother, came to see what they have and befriend them. And since he was a very enterprising gentleman, he entered into the largest infrastructure project in Southeast Asia, which were building 1,500 kilometers of irrigation canals so that Thailand can become a rice hub of the region. And somehow it didn't go on so well, using a lot of Chinese with shovels. And so he turned to B.Grimm and asked whether they would like to join. So B.Grimm joined in the form of Mr. Erwin Müller, the main founder. And they made it a success. So making a pharmaceutical and building the largest infrastructure project. And in between, they did a lot of other businesses, all which they thought was good for society. At the same time, the founder married a very wonderful lady from that area where they dug the canals. And she always wanted to build a temple for the workers. So that's what they did. So I think what B.Grimm did from the very beginning is try to do something good for society and marry social work with business work without thinking that these two are separate.
So that was the intentionality right from the beginning, that yes, we are in business, the business should make money, but we do business by doing something good for society.
Yes, that was the idea. And then when I came in, I wanted to know what actually have we been doing in the sense of who we are. And so this is what my grandfather, who joined later, did. And this was my uncle, my father, and my aunt did, and my mother. So
you're just carrying the torch.
I'm just carrying
Wonderful.
and hope to pass it on.
There you go, and leave it in better hands. Yeah. So I'm going to read out this. B.Grimm is the only company awarded the Siam coat of arms from King Rama V, Queen Regent of King Rama V, King Rama VI, and King Rama VII. So what is the Siam coat of arms, and why was B.Grimm awarded it multiple times?
So in former times, if you wanted to be purveyor to the court, then you have to ask or get it from the various king. And Thailand had a speciality, as you just mentioned. So when King Rama V went abroad, he didn't ask his brother or son to hold the fort while he was away and have all the powers connected to it, but he asked one of his many wives. And she did amazingly well, so he was very happy. So it's our ancestors. They did well, so they were recognized by the court. And when King Rama VII came, Then he introduced a different coat of arms, which was the emblem the government is using now, is the Garuda. It's a flying animal of Vishnu, a god. And so since then, we just have the Garuda and try to do good.
So again, it was because you were doing good for society as a business, that's why you got it multiple times?
Exactly.
Okay, very good. Now, fast forward to your time. How do you see B.Grimm? What role does B.Grimm play in the overall development and contributions to Thailand?
Well, our ancestors, they chose the hard route. The hard route is bring high technology in terms of equipment for infrastructure, industry, and commerce to Thailand, and always the highest quality goods, which were also not the cheapest. And so that was very tough, because Thailand is not really a country that is has lots of industries which are created by industrialists, but there's more a service and agricultural society, and we have 30% of GDP of industry, but it's mainly from companies that bring their technologies here. So anyway, so we did that until we came to the point, why do we have to only sell other people's products? Why don't we go back to the source, to the beginning of the company and do our own thing? Which we then did. And so we talked to all our manufacturers whose distributor we were, and suggested that we make joint ventures with them. Why is that a good idea? So they become closer to Thailand, they feel very committed to Thailand, and then we both do things together. If something goes wrong, then we just see how to solve the problem and not try to anybody blame the other person. And we are very customer oriented and doing our own thing, like the electricity sector, some real estate, some now pharmaceutical back again. So we have to develop our own capabilities, our own manufacturing methods, and so we are kind of back to where we started from.
Gotcha. So what's good for Thailand is good for B.Grimm. Was that the philosophy?
We hope so. But first of all, when we talk in the company, we have one of our values is partnership. So whenever we approach a partner or are in contact with one possible new partner, the first thing we have to do is see what we can do for them.
Gotcha.
So not the other way around.
Right,
so what can you do for me? No. We first see, is there something we can do for them? And then when they find that that's the case, then we talk about joining together.
And that's the key to steward leadership, isn't it? Interdependence. The more you give, the more you get. So good. B.Grimm has been known for its culture of compassion right from the beginning, and you've personally talked about doing business with compassion in quite a few forums. Why focus on compassion in the dog-eat-dog world of business, where everybody's competing with one another? And what's the secret of upholding such a culture for so long?
Actually, I think when we talk about business schools, maybe because the biggest funds come from big companies, I think they concentrate on these big companies. And in the big companies, then they come up with all these theories about competition and dog eats dog and so on. But the real world, where the millions and millions of companies are, they are many in rural areas or in small agglomerations in small towns. And how are the people there? They try to be nice to each other. They try to help each other. When you are in a village, the church has a problem, you donate. The school has an issue, you give. The little kid comes with a mother, the baker will hand him a little croissant or something. So I think the nature of human beings is social being, and they want to support each other, help each other. And so I think compassionate behavior is actually what people would like to experience. And now the other question is, how do you want to relate with your customer? And the answer is very clear. Everybody say you have to be customer oriented or so. So you want to be nice to your customer. Now, you want to be nice to a customer, how do you want to be with your colleague? Now, one young person once told me that in the company she worked in, her fiercest competitor was sitting next to her. But we want her best friend to sit next to her, or develop into her best friend, or a good friend. And so when you leave the office, you're in good spirits. You're nice in the traffic. You don't swear at other people. You come home, what can you do? You can embrace your loved one. You can be nice to your children. You don't say, oh, please give me time out. I just have to relax for a bit. I'm so upset. My life's so tough. So I think this is the natural way of human beings, only we are taught differently. So when I grew up in school, I grew up in Germany, school, you're only supposed to use your head. Boys are not supposed to have any feelings. And the natural thing to do is of course, you'd like to employ your head, but you also want to work with your heart. And of course, as a businessman, you want your guts to be involved. So you have to always, that's what we do in the company, we have to.
But some people would say that, over focusing on compassion in business makes you less competitive, and then your returns will not be commensurate with the market, etc. Has this culture of focus on compassion actually helped your financial success as a group?
It's a good question and difficult to answer because I don't know how it is
without it. You've never done it without
otherwise. But I think if you remember in Bhutan, the fourth king, when he was 17, he was asked, how's your GDP? And then he said, we concentrate on happiness. So we're more interested in gross national happiness. I'm more interested can we help society to be in a good situation and help our people to feel good about what we are doing and how we are doing it, how we are together. And then, of course, what we always preach is doing business with compassion will only work as a role model if we can reach high targets. So that has to go together.
There's no conflict between the two.
No conflicts. On the contrary, actually, there's a book by American professor Adam Grant. It's called Give and Take.
Give and Take, yes. Yeah.
And he asked, if you take the givers, the matchers, and the takers, who will be the bottom and who will be at the top 20 years later? So the givers are both at the bottom and
at the top. Yeah.
And he explained to you how you may end up not at the bottom. Well, our purpose is we want to do business with compassion. And we want to do something good for society. And I think so far, we have done quite well in doing good for society. And of course, part of society is who? Our customers, our suppliers, our people. So if they're happy to work with us and they're happy as such, then that means that it worked out quite well. Now, our returns have been, I think, satisfactory. And we always have high objectives. So if you look the development of our sales from when we started to concentrate on it to now, I think the development was reasonably good.
So you don't see any conflict between compassion and profitability and growth?
Actually, I think it's a very good question. And what fortunately has happened lately is that people ask, are you externalizing internal costs? That has a lot to do with the environment. So if you look at the gross national happiness concept of Bhutan, so they have 4 pillars.
Yes.
So one pillar is good governance, which has become very important in the world, but maybe not always applied. So this ESG, this must be ESGE, yeah? So good governance and looking after the culture, looking after society, looking after environment, and including in social, looking after society is the commercial and the economic well-being. So it all has to go together, and what you see now is everybody worried about the world becoming too hot and denuded and not enough animals here and so on. This is a consequence of externalizing internal cost. So if you cut down the trees and sell them and not plant a new one, maybe you have income, but the world has less. So that doesn't work in the long term. It works in the short term.
And then at some point, that's going to come back and haunt you anyway.
Well, it has already.
There you go. Yeah. So the family and the business for 150 years has had this history of doing business with compassion and doing well for society, and therefore automatically doing well for the business. How would you describe your personal purpose?
My personal purpose, I would like to become a better human being. So try to work on myself. And of course, I would like to do something good for society, like what B.Grimm is doing all the time. And I really would like to pass on the company in a better shape than I inherited it. And so I have to constantly be aware to really make it happen and not at the end leave a disaster to our children and our grandchildren.
So what have been some of the challenges associated with doing business with compassion?
Actually, in general, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, how many people have the opportunity that I have or I had? And that you can also decide that you want to do that and not be in an organization that's crap. We want to reap the maximum benefit for ourselves and we don't care for anybody else, and we only do the so-called ESG if we are forced to do it, and only to the extent that they ask me. You can see it now already. E is already on the retreat.
That's right.
So all the oil companies, they want to do less.
Drill, baby, drill. It's back.
Yeah. So, which I'm not saying anything against it, because the oil company is an oil company. Doesn't mean that there will be less renewable electricity. So it's just a readjustment of what is happening. So I think the soul is so important. So I think, as I said in the beginning, every company has a soul. And it's very difficult to look after the soul, but it's very easy to destroy it. You can see it in many places. So we have to look after it really well, and that means what the British do with their lawn, tender loving care.
Talking about energy, you talked about the oil industry. You're in the energy business. And what is your strategy with renewables? I know you have a big focus on renewables. How important is that for you? And what are you looking at in the next 5 or 10 years in terms of the mix of your business?
So the question is always, which type of art do you like? So everybody likes different type of art. And then when I ask you a question, why do you like that one? I'm sure you can explain. But the point is, you like it because you like it. It's like the food. Why do you like this food and not the other? You like it because you like it.
That's right.
And I always had a dream. I wanted to build an international business. Not so easy, because we were really Thailand focused. We had the joint ventures with manufacturers for Thailand, and only a few agree with us to do it outside of Thailand as well. So we built up a shipping business, which you can't stop the ships from going all over the place. So that we did. Now the energy business allow us to do the same. And what also is very positive for small companies is that the renewable energy allows you to go wherever you want to go. Now, we haven't done a good job in explaining to the investors and to the analysts why that's a good idea. And we also haven't explained well enough in why we do it the way we do it. Now, I don't want us to buy a big power plant in place X and then reap the profits and then stop it and sell it again. But I'd like us to be an international company like we became in Thailand. So in Thailand, 2 foreigners joined together and they built a company that is well respected as a Thai company. And so when we go in a country, we want to become part of society. B.Grimm has become a real integral part of society. We do a lot of social work. And very often when I go into any meeting or institutional get-together, I look around and maybe I'm the only white face there. So this is how I'd like to be in Italy. So what we've been doing now we take away the brackets. So not B.Grimm Power Italy, B.Grimm Power Greece, B.Grimm Power United States. We just want to be B.Grimm. So 20 years from now, I would like people to think, oh, B.Grimm is an American company, started by people from Thailand. Oh, B.Grimm is an Italian company, started by people from Thailand. The wonderful thing is, and we as Thai should be really happy about that, is wherever you go in the world, Thai people welcome, which you can't say of Germans after World War II. So this is actually a huge benefit. If you are professional in what you do, and you are Thai, everybody welcomes you. And the great thing about Thai people is they are very good at harmonizing. Because harmony, even though it's not expressed, but it's a real felt value. Thailand is not always harmonious, but Thai people like to be in a good relation with each other. One thing that helps is being like a bamboo. But what we like to be, have the oak roots and the bamboo upper part. So here you find many trees, especially in Bangkok, the roots are not deep. So you have a storm, they fall. So we like to have really deep roots. So when we go to any country, we would like them to think, yeah, this is the Italian company, this is the German company, this is the American company, this is a Saudi company. And so have a big, deep roots in that society. But they may remember, this is a company that came from Thailand. That's why so many Thai people are here. And this is a company with a long history. It's actually 147 years this year, not yet 150.
And almost,
as you know.
Yeah, I said almost.
Anyway, I hope we make it 150.
So in terms of the energy business, what's the mix right now between renewables and traditional, and where do you want to see it?
We think many ways of producing energy are of benefit for society. So I'm not saying all the coal-fired power plants are really bad, because we have to know where they come from and when have they been there and what they're doing now and how long will they be around. You will see 30 years from now there will still be gas-fired power plants, or by that time maybe we can use green hydrogen. And so we don't have to destroy all the power plants that exist, but we can use them. Yeah. So in the moment we have about 30% of capacity, and we probably will be more than 50% soon. But it's also because of all the opportunities. Now, we're getting strongly involved in supplying to data centers. Data centers, they all want to have renewable energy. Where do you get it from? So you have to produce it. So we have now also participated in the share of a wind turbine company, the first one who build wind turbines without gearbox. So very good for the very big ones. In every country where we are, actually we are more concentrating on renewable energy.
And with a big focus on data centers, because they are the most hungry users of energy.
Yes.
So 147 years we are here today. How do you ensure the continued success of B.Grimm beyond your tenure?
There are two parts to it. So one part is institutionalizing what we do. So we notice, of course, that international companies, they are very good in structure and they're very good in process. So we have to be very good in structure, we have to be very good in process. Then we have to have our very strong culture. Actually, that's number one. And instill this culture in everyone. So mindfulness in organization is really important. So that people understand for themselves really well how to go inside yourself. How can you develop yourself to be a better human being every day and still contribute, not still, and contribute a lot to society.
And still make money.
Yeah, I think they still make money. Of course you have to make money. I mean, nobody will ask somebody working in a big company, do you get a salary?
That's right.
Everybody needs to eat and live. So I think for me, this is a given. Right. You have to make at least as much money as the standard for the industry is, especially if you're on the stock market. Yeah. Otherwise, you can't grow.
That's right.
The other part is the next generation. So from the very beginning, I was looking at what you have to know to be a good heir. So first thing is you have to understand business. If you don't understand and you get a business, then you will ruin it. Second part is how to be a good shareholder. Third part is how to be a good board member. The fourth part is, and that is not necessarily necessary, how do you operate a business? So with my designated successor, our daughter, so she went through all four parts. And so she fortunately doesn't want to be an operator and take away a job from anybody in our company. So all in B.Grimm, they know that they can be the number one. And my preference is to be a joint number one, so that they know the burden is not 100% on them, but they can consult, which anyway.
So how confident are you that the culture that you have worked so hard to build, this doing business with compassion and doing business based on those values, will continue beyond you?
I'm already the fourth generation to do that. So we actually should be able to do that. Otherwise, we are a complete failure, because there are already 3 generations before us, and now we're trying to do that as well. So should go to the 5th.
Well, you've already passed the test, because they say short sleeves to short sleeves in 3 generations. You've crossed that threshold, so hopefully it goes. Very good. My final question. What do you have to say to the critics who don't believe that purpose and profit can coexist?
I would just ask them to please reconsider and look at it, and look at all the millions of companies that are in the small communities, and see how they do and how they can do both parts together. How those companies who really express their purpose in an understandable way, how do they their business, and whether they want to do something good for society and have the people in the company have a good life, not materially outside, but also soul-wise inside while they work. And so if they have done and looked at that, and this is their desire, I think it's more, how do you structure your business in such a way that you do the natural thing, which be a good part of community, and then make the money. So if you can only make money by exploiting people and their goodwill, I think you may just adjust a bit, think a bit, get some other people to give you some advice on how to do it, and I think you'll be a happier human being. So I don't think they are wrong. I just think that maybe it's helpful if you look at those who do it in a different way. Right. And I'm not saying that B.Grimm is the example to look at. I just think there are millions of people who do it. Yeah, but maybe you can say what I say.
Very good. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, yet another proof point that purpose and profit can coexist. And in fact, if you heard anything in this, as I did, it is that actually focusing on those values and that purpose is what makes them successful and gives them happiness. Harald Link, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best going forward.
Thanks, Rajeev.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you.